Hello all, welcome to today's class. We were discussing about curriculum. So today onwards we will be discussing about steps in curriculum development in detail. So already I have told that this steps in curriculum development, it is according to Ralph Taylor, and mainly there are four steps. Okay, formulation of educational objectives, selection of learning experiences, organization of learning experiences, and evaluation of the curriculum. So these are the four steps through which we are developing the curriculum. So we have to discuss one by one in detail. So we will go to the first step, that is the formulation of educational objectives. Formulation of educational objectives. So we are trying to create, or we are writing down educational objectives, and based on which we are going to develop the curriculum. Okay, so we can see what is an educational objective first. So educational objectives tell us what the student or learner should be able to do at the end of the learning period that he or she could not do beforehand. So this is nothing but what student will be able to do after a learning experience or exposure with a learning practice. Okay, and that he or she could not do beforehand. Okay, so after the particular learning teaching learning activity, something special or something extra what he is doing or what we are expecting that he will do, that is educational objectives. Okay, so after this particular session, I am expecting that my students will be able to define, or they will be able to explain educational objectives. So that is the particular set objective for me for this particular session. So this is the educational objective. Hope you understood. So at the end of this session, you will be able to explain what is education objective. That is the particular objective of this particular video. So this is education objective. So you will be able to explain what is education objectives in your term. Some modification in your idea, in your understanding is happening after learning, viewing this particular video. So that is the educational objectives. Okay, so tell us what the student or learner should be able to do at the end of the learning period that he or she could not do beforehand. Okay, so education objective, they define what the student, not the teacher, should be able to do at the end of the session. So we are not trying to tell what the teacher will be doing at the end of the session, but we are focusing on what we are expecting on the students. Okay, what they will do at the end of the session. Okay, not the teacher. What the student is going to do is educational objectives. Okay, so whenever we are writing the educational objectives, that is centering, or that is focusing on the student's activity after the session. So we are predicting what they will or what they can do at the end of my session or my teaching learning activity. So that is the educational objective. Hope you all are clear. So educational objective definition, and this is according to Binu Shankar Narayanan. And educational objectives are the statements of those desired changes in behavior as a result of specific teaching learning activity or specific teacher learner activities. Okay, so educational objective is nothing but, already we have seen in the previous slides the same thing. These are the statements. So we are writing down educational objectives. We usually will be writing down as a statement of those desired changes in behavior as a result of specific teaching learning activity or teacher learner activity. So we are trying to give some teacher learner activity, and after giving that, what change can be expected in the student. so that we are predicting. So that is the educational objective. Okay, so the statements of those desired changes, so till now the changes are not happened, we are predicting some change can happen after this teaching learning activity or teacher learner activity. So this is known as the educational objective. So hope you all are clear with the definition. So, educational objectives spell out what should a learner be able to do or do better after the successful completion of an educational program that he or she was unable to do or could not do so well before. So, before giving a teaching learning activity on bed making, all first year basic nursing are able to do the bed making, so they are practicing the same till 12th standard. But after that particular session they have some change. Okay, they could do so well before, so that is comparing to before they are doing so well. Or in educational objective the definition may not be known to you, so you are doing that which was unable to do before. So this is the education objective. So we are trying to spell out what learner will be able to do or do better. So something was done and now they are practicing better after the successful completion of an educational program that he or she was unable to do or could not do so well before. So പുതിയതായിട്ട് ചെറിയൊരു ചേഞ്ച് വരാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മൊത്തത്തിൽ പുതിയതായിട്ട് പഠിച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു വലിയൊരു ചേഞ്ച് വരാം. ബോത്ത് ക്യാൻ ബി expected, that is desired change can be the, that is educational objective. So hope you all clear with what is educational objective and what is the importance of this in curriculum. So now we can proceed to the classification of educational objectives. We will be discussing mainly three types of or three classification systems in educational objective. So the first one is according to Gilbert. According to Gilbert, what are the classification of education objectives? The first one is institutional or general objective. So these are generally followed by all institutions offering the same educational program. So institutional education objective or a general objective, this is an objective which is usually followed by all education institutions which is providing the same or similar educational activities. So for example, nursing students, like nursing colleges, different nursing colleges will have the same objective. Okay, that is the education objective. Even similar institutions like nursing institutions or MBBS or any institutions who are offering the similar programs will have a common educational objective. It is known as institutional objective or general objective. So students acquire knowledge and able to provide comprehensive care to the patients or clients in institution and community in health and sickness. So this is the objective which we set for any nursing institution. So all nursing colleges, nursing schools are working with this particular objective. So that is the institutional or general objective. Okay. The second is intermediate objectives. Intermediate objectives are nothing but derivatives of institutional objectives and related to a particular learning experience or a subject matter. So general objective, from that it is derived, that is intermediate objectives. Okay, intermediate objectives. For example, so students acquire knowledge and able to provide comprehensive care to patients with eye, ear and nose conditions or diseases. So here what we are trying to tell is it is regarding the subjects. Okay, so intermediate objectives will be from the general objective, institutional objective, but this is for the each subject. For fundamentals of nursing, so medical nursing, surgical nursing, child health nursing, for each subject they will have the objective that is known as intermediate objectives. Okay, the next one is instructional objectives or specific objective. So instructional objectives or specific objective, that is very specific, precise, attainable, measurable and corresponding to each teaching learning activity. So this is what is practicing in the classroom. For each session we will be writing the objective. So define peptic ulcer. Even in medical or in surgical nursing we will be learning the peptic ulcer. So in medical surgical nursing, so it defines peptic ulcer. So actually teacher is coming to the classroom with these objectives. Okay, define peptic ulcer, explain medical management of peptic ulcer. So these all things are actually implemented in the classroom. So that is the instructional objective or the specific objective. So we have the institutional objective or the institutional objective or the general objective at the institutional level. At subject level we have the intermediate objectives, and in the classroom we will have the instructional objective or the specific objective. Hope you all are clear with what is the first classification by Gilbert. That is, the first one is institutional objective, the second one is general objective, the third one is instructional objective or the specific objective. So now we can proceed into the second classification, and it is according to Hedgergen. Hedgergen classifies the educational objectives into again three. The first one is central objective, the second one is contributory objective, the third one is indirect objective. Okay, central objective, contributory objective, indirect objective. So these are the classification of educational objective according to Hedgergen. Central objective, contributory objective and indirect objective. Okay. So first we can see the central objective. So central objective, it will be written for every topic or lesson. Gives basis for formulating subsequent contributory objectives. So for a particular topic, maybe for curriculum development, I will be writing a curriculum development, principles of curriculum development. For 1 hour session I am planning that particular topic. So for that entire topic I will be writing down, that is the central objective. Okay, gives basis for formulating subsequent contributory objective. For example, maybe for peptic ulcer or maybe for any hydrocephalus, that is each topics. For each topic we will be writing central objective. For example, by the end of the class, students explain regarding lecture method, discriminate the merits and demerits of the lecture method, and be able to practice it in an effective way by minimizing the demerits. So this is the central objective which I set for a topic, lecture method. Okay, so here I am specifying what is my topic and what are the domains in which I will be taking the class on lecture method. So this is an example for central objective. For each and every topic, when we are starting the topic, we will be writing the central objective for focusing the entire topic. That is the central objective. Okay, it is written for every topic or lesson and gives basis for formulating subsequent contributory objective. From this we will be writing down the contributory objective of this particular topic. So hope you are clear with the lecture method, the topic and how we have to write the central objective. Okay, the next one is contributory objective. So they are the derivatives of central objective and it's synonymous with the specific objective. So in the previous classification we have seen the specific objective, so or it is instruction objective. So this is very, each topic is subdivided for each for helping specific teaching learning activity. So define peptic ulcer, explain management of peptic ulcer. So these are the specific objective, and here in the contributory objective it is the same like specific objective. Okay, so define lecture method, write down the advantages of lecture method, list down the uh, demerits of lecture method. So these all are from the central objective. It is derived from central objective and it is written down very specifically. So that is a contributory objective and it is very synonymous with the specific objective. The next one is indirect objective. Okay, indirect objective, it is nothing but the byproducts of the attainment of other objectives. The byproducts of the attainment of other objectives, it is known as indirect objective. So ideals, attitudes, along with the attainment of contributory objectives. So appreciate the value of lecture method. So that is a indirect objective. So when we are achieving the other objectives, indirectly there will be some objectives which will be met. So that is the indirect objective. So when we are not studying peptic ulcer, so how we have to give empathy for the patients, how we have to respect the pain of the patient. So these all things will be coming indirectly, so that when we are approaching the patients, that can be used, that is empathy, attitudes, these all will be developing. So here example, appreciate the value of lecture method. So it may not be measurable, but when we are understanding the merits, demerits, the procedure of lecture method, automatically this knowledge also will be getting into the students. So that is the indirect objective. So according to Herjeken, there are three objectives, that is central objective, contributory objective or the specific objective, and the indirect objective. So hope you all understood the two methods of classification of educational objectives. And now we can proceed into the third classification of educational objective, that is the Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. So actually Bloom's taxonomy, it is an essay type questions can be asked from Bloom's taxonomy itself. Okay, so Bloom's taxonomy of educational objective, it is developed by Bloom and his associates. Okay, Bloom and his associates has developed this taxonomy of educational objective. So actually taxonomy of educational objectives, it is a system of classification of objectives. It is a system of classification of objectives, and we can see what is taxonomy. It is coming from the Greek word, okay, taxis and nomos. So from Greek word, taxis means arrangement and nomos means science. That is a science of arrangements. That is the educational objectives we are trying to arrange, okay, in a fashion, in such a way that it is explaining the how the level of behavior of the student is changing. Okay, and it means a set of classification principles or structure, and domain simply means category. So here what is Bloom's taxonomy? Two things we have to understand: taxonomy, that is the science of arrangements, and domains, that is the category, categorization is happening and some arrangement is happening in the educational objectives. So it is a very big system of understanding regarding educational objectives, that is taxonomy of educational objectives. Okay, taxonomy of educational objective is nothing but it is something arrangement of the educational objectives into different domains and levels. Okay, so we can see on what basis we have made this arrangement is the last point, that is according to the change brought about in the behavior of the learner. So these all classification of Bloom's taxonomy or the taxonomy of education objective, it is the behavior of the learner is taken into consideration. So when we are teaching something to the students, where the students will coming or where the student will be coming and standing. So according to that, from simple to complex, the student's behavior is understood and we are making into a classification system. So when we are coming into the different domains and levels, you will be better understanding. Okay. So here what we are trying to observe is the change in behavior. Okay, comparing to the previous classification. So the first classification we were discussing in which level educational objective was there, like whether it is an institutional, whether it was an subject or intermediate, or whether it is in the instructional level. Okay, and in the second classification also we were discussing the same, like where or what is the content of objective. Okay, where whether it is a topic specific or derivative of the topic or indirect. So here we are giving, so from the first class onwards I am focusing like everything should be student centered. So here in taxonomy we are trying to monitor the behavior of the student, or we are trying to forecast the behavior of the student when I am teaching a particular topic where I am expecting the student should be able to stand. That is the taxonomy of educational objective according to Bloom. Okay, so you can understand in different questions. Okay, enumerate the various causes of vertigo. Enumerate the various causes of vertigo. So what are the causes of vertigo? So when I am asking this particular question, what is happening is the student should have the knowledge to explain this particular causes of vertigo. So what is vertigo, what are the causes, what can happen? So these all knowledge should be there with the student, then only they can enumerate the causes of vertigo. So that is a knowledge aspect is important. And the first domain, that is a category. Already we have seen that domain, it is nothing but the category. So the first domain in Bloom's taxonomy, it is cognitive domain. Okay, cognitive domain, that is a knowledge. How to insert Ryle's tube in an adult? Okay, how to insert the Ryle's tube in an adult? So for answering this particular question, the student should have a basic knowledge regarding Ryle's tube, regarding the anatomy of the nostril and other things, the assessment of the patient. Everything is important. But for insertion, along with the knowledge, there should be doing skills is important. So regarding this doing skills, it is the psychomotor domain. The category, the second category which is coming in the Bloom's taxonomy, it is psychomotor domain. So now the behavior of the student is important, that they have to do something. They should have a knowledge on doing skills, or they should have doing skills. So this doing skills, that is a behavior of the student, and it is known as psychomotor domain. Okay, the third one is break the news to a patient that he is diagnosed to have carcinoma stomach as per examination and investigation reports. So person is diagnosed with carcinoma, so I have the knowledge, I have the thorough knowledge regarding the carcinoma and everything, and I know how to treat the patient also. So when a patient is coming, how to handle a patient with the carcinoma, the practice skill is also important. I have that. But to break the news, how to introduce this new news for them, in that we should have the emotional or communicative skills. So this emotional and communicative skills is known as affective domain or emotional domain. Affective domain. So these are the main three categories in which Bloom and his associates divides or classifies the behavior or education objective into based on the behavior of the student. So three behavior, it is important in learning, teaching learning. The first objective is, or first domain is cognitive domain, that is a category. The second is psychomotor domain, and the third one is affective domain. Hope you all clear. So these are the three domains: cognitive, affective and psychomotor. So classification of three domains in Bloom taxonomy. The first three domains are affective domain, so we have to talk about the heart. Okay, psychomotor domain we have to do with hands. Cognitive domain we have to think and evaluate, and we have to express with our brain. That is the three domains. So the student, after learning everything, these three domains we have to understand. Okay, the teacher should understand in which domain we are, or what domain the student will be able to practice, or what domain I am focusing in this particular session. So that is a classification of three domains, and the further details of each domain and the levels we will be discussing in the next class. Hope you all understood thoroughly. Please read properly, write the notes also. Thank you very much.